From the outside, it's easy to imagine an alternate timeline where Van Halen stood shoulder to shoulder with the Rolling Stones as one of the rock's most enduring giants. The ingredients were all there: towering talent, unstoppable charisma, and a fan base that seemed willing to follow them anywhere. But behind the curtain, the band was slowly being pulled in different artistic directions, and no amount of hit records could mask the creative tug-of-war brewing within the group. Eddie Van Halen's musical imagination simply couldn't be contained to a single instrument. By the early 80s, his fascination with keyboards was growing, and when the album 1984 arrived with synths woven into the very heart of its sound, David Lee Roth saw the writing on the wall. Eddie was evolving, and Roth wasn't interested in following that path. Tension had always simmered between them. Eddie often dominated the spotlight, and Roth, a whirlwind of chaotic charm even on his best days, could be exhausting for anyone to keep up with. As work began on Fair Warning, Eddie became even more outspoken about his musical priorities. He wanted guitars and keyboards to coexist. Roth wanted none of it. Eddie's blistering guitar work was his signature. Why, he thought, should he limit himself? So when Eddie unveiled the idea that would eventually become Jump, he made it unmistakably clear. This was the new direction of Van Halen. The bright, punchy synth line may have led the song, but the explosive guitar solo that erupted after it proved that Eddie wasn't abandoning anything. He was expanding. Recording inside Eddie's custom-built 5150 studio gave him even more freedom. One song led to another, and soon tracks like I'll Wait followed the same template. Roth, increasingly frustrated, started pouring his energy into a side project, an EP titled Crazy from the Heat, where he got his first taste of life outside the Van Halen bubble. By the time the 1984 tour wrapped, Roth had made up his mind. He stuck to his on-stage bravado, but privately, he was preparing to walk away. His next move was a loud one, leaving the band and releasing Eat 'Em and Smile, a not-so-subtle jab at his former bandmates. Van Halen, meanwhile, reinvented itself with Sammy Hagar on vocals, moving into a new chapter. Roth doubled down on his larger-than-life persona, teaming up with guitar visionary Steve Vai and pushing his music in wilder, sometimes even dance-leaning directions. Whatever anyone thought of him, he certainly wasn't playing it safe. The old friction flared again years later during sessions for the band's greatest hits release. Eddie hoped to give Roth another shot at revisiting some classics, but the attempt quickly fell apart. As Eddie told Eruption, "I wanted to give him another chance on those songs. The idea was never for him to rejoin the band. I just wanted to help him get out of that Vegas thing he was doing. But he threw it back in my face. I thought we were friends. Forget it." In Eddie's mind, Roth's chapter in Van Halen had already closed, and the reunion talks only confirmed it. Still, fate had one final twist. Roth eventually returned to the stage with the Van Halen brothers for a final run of shows in 2015, years before Eddie's passing. After everything, the friction, the fallouts, the brief reconciliations, they managed to share the spotlight one last time. And perhaps that's the real legacy of 1984, an album forged in creative conflict, fueled by clashing visions, and yet responsible for some of the most iconic songs in rock history. Because sometimes, the very tension that tears a band apart is the same energy that makes their music unforgettable.